you welcome, my children. For the first few years of the Longbox, we took a look at an anthology series hosted posthumously, of course, by Bela Lugosi. Did you know, though, that we never looked at the first issue of it? Well, let's rectify that. Our framing device features a vampire lady, Nosferina, meeting Bela Lugosi's assistant Hugo. Nosferina's a huge fan of Lugosi, even becoming a vampire in tribute to him. She wishes there were more spooky stories that he could tell, and now that he has crossed over into the netherworld, Bela has plenty of new ones to share. Starting with unpleasant side effects. Professor von Schuler and his assistant Marcus have sadly once again failed to produce results on the ape they were experimenting on. Their serum to try to bring the dead back to life has only resulted in a monstrous creature with abnormal cell regeneration. Still, it can't seem to regenerate from a shotgun blast. Von Schuler's fiancée receives comfort from his assistant, a fact that he has of course began to notice, ever since he failed to return her precious dog to life. They had originally been one big happy family together, but his dedication to his work had kept him from her, allowing Marcus to feel that emotional hole. Von Schuler is convinced that he's fixed the problem with the serum, but needs to test it on Marcus to see for certain. And after he kills him in order to test it, the fiancé enters as he injects him with the serum, which transforms him into the hulking monster, as with all the others. Only this time, he is immune to the bullets, his cells regenerating almost instantaneously. Marcus wants to kill him for all this, but the fiancé offers a counter-proposal so he can live. Give her the serum too, so that she and Marcus can live happily ever after together. Next up, Bela Lugosi offers us a strangely isolated place. Details in the narration are a little vague, but the impression that is given is that a man feels betrayed by his wife over some deed she has done, leaving him with a broken heart. The man elects to summon 3 monsters to deal with the poison in his heart that had taken not only her from him, but their son. A vampire, a werewolf, and a zombie. Unfortunately, he was not a sorcerer. So all 3 monsters had been summoned and forced through the same door. The fused creature was ordered to vanquish his single greatest enemy, and he realizes too late that he was his own greatest enemy. But at least he was a good snack. Following that, we have Mark of the Zombie, and it is swimming in text, my children. Like, this is not even supposed to be a prose story, yet it feels like it has just as many words in it. Exposition and history and legends and... Well, you know me, my children. I like to showcase everything, but my eyes just glazed over and fell out of my head trying to read all this. After I popped them back in, I decided to just skip it. Hell, I'm pretty sure it's a bit racist anyway, dealing with voodoo zombies and African tribes. It might have been a perfectly enjoyable story, but the sheer torrent of text is overwhelming and unnecessary. Let's go to something much more manageable with Eyes of the Prairie. A cowboy named Jim gets drunk at the local cantina, even hitting on one of the barmaids and not taking no for an answer. He threatens those who would help her with a gun, but fortunately the girl scratches his face and he releases her. He decides to not get any revenge, instead wanting to head back out. But while he has made no friends in the bar, they warn him not to leave. La Engañada walks the prairie. They explain that she was a beautiful woman who married a powerful man, but although it was his eyes that often wandered from his wife, he became convinced that she was unfaithful in her eyes, and thus cut them and her heart out. Now, each full moon she roams the night, wailing and feasting on the wandering eyes of men in payment for the ones taken from her. Naturally, Jim does not believe it and heads out to the prairie to start a fire, until he hears the wails. And as the night moves on, he soon realizes that the wails are his own, for La Engañada has taken his eyes. She probably made him read Mark of the Zombie. Following this, a 4-page story, The Good Doctor, wherein a monstrous scientist gathers other monsters to behold his latest creation, life itself. The lightning strikes, life pulses into his creature, and it is a beautiful woman, almost Marilyn Monroe-like. Naturally, the Doctor switches her off and declares it's back to the drawing board. What is he talking about? Truly, he has created something hideous and wrong. We see the first toyetic appearance of Dr. Vornoff and Lobo, late from Bride of the Monster, as they seek to try Vornoff's new device to create a race of super beings that will conquer the world. Unfortunately, when they test it on a small child, while it is successful, they didn't actually have a way to control the ice cream craving little monster. And finally, Nosferina presents us with the Los Lugosi Film Theater. She explains that some of Bela Lugosi's films in the 30s and 40s were too horrific to release, so she is here to present them. And this one is The Midnight Museum. Sylvia is a dancer soon to be married to her fiancé Frank. She's planning on retiring when, as the two walk home, they are met by Lorenzo the Great, aka Bela Lugosi. He is an admirer of Sylvia and invites her to tour his studio after her final performance. She agrees, and the next night at midnight, she does indeed visit his taxidermy studio. He gives her a tour, eventually coming to one particular chamber, where he plans to turn her into one of the exhibits. Frank, the jealous sort, followed and attacks Lorenzo. She runs off back to her apartment, Frank soon coming after her. But when she tries to kiss him, we see that Lorenzo truly is skilled. He's already made a mask of Frank's face. A shame that Bela Lugosi's Tales from the Grave was so short-lived, my children. But every time we read up on Bela Lugosi and his works, it lives again.